that on Flutter, knowing nothing about mobile app development to becoming a mobile app dev. Yes, so that is the goal of this particular session. That's the goal of this class. So you will go from zero, no knowledge about mobile app development, to you get to how to build an application and deploy an application. So first of all, I want to start with Flutter because that's going to be our main focus. What is Flutter and how does it relate to mobile app development? What is the relationship between Flutter and mobile app development? And then again, we ask, what is mobile app development? Yes, why are we learning mobile app development? What can we do with mobile app development? Well, from the name, you will get what mobile app is developing mobile applications. All of you listen to me now. I'm sure you have a mobile phone. It's either you have an Android or you have an iPhone, or probably you have both. Yes. So if you have an iPhone, you have an Android, you are familiar with mobile apps. They are in your phones. So as I'm talking now, you can just take a look at the applications in your phone. Just look at them. Now, these apps you're looking at, the Google, the Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all the apps you're looking at right now are built by mobile app developers. Yes. In fact, let me shock you. If you're using Binance now, Binance is built and currently being maintained with what? With Flutter. Yes. The same technology that you are learning now, that you want to learn now, is also the same technology that we are using. They are using to build and maintain Binance, the trading platform, the popular trading platform we all know. So your goal now is for you to also to have the knowledge to be able to build applications just like that. It's not magic. It's something you can do. It's something you can learn. And as I'm in this class, it's something I hope all of us can be able to do by the end of this class, to be able to build mobile apps using that and Flutter. So that is what it means to be a mobile app developer. So now, what do we use to build mobile applications? Now, there are quite a few of them, and I'll be telling you about them. So number one, we have different platforms. Like I've mentioned, we have Android, we have iOS. Those are the two popular platforms we know when it comes to building mobile applications. Now, Dart and Flutter is not the only language available for building mobile applications. Yes, there's a good number of them available out there. If you want to build a mobile app, there's a good number of them available out there. So I'm going to be going through some of them and explain to you why Flutter is the best option for you to learn, to know how to build mobile apps. So, for instance, now, an app on an Android cannot and will never work on an iPhone. Why? Because Android and iPhone are two different applications, two different devices, two different products. So, for instance, now, if you want to install an app on your Android phone, the type of file you install is called an APK, which you already know. You install an APK. And if you want to install, you can go to the Play Store to install these apps. And if you want to install an app on your iPhone, you use what they call IPA. Name of the file is called an IPA, and you go to the App Store. So these two files, they cannot work on the other. You can't install an IPA file on your Android phone, and neither can you do the other one. Yeah. So now there are platforms people use to build applications. But when you are using Flutter to build apps, you are going to use one code base. Yes, one code base to build for two platforms. So the same code that is generating the APK file is also the same code that is building the IPA file. So you're going to use one particular code base to build for Android. You're going to use one particular code base to use for to build for what? iOS. Why is this good? Before now, it's not like this. Before now, for you to have an application on the App Store and Play Store, you have to use different languages. So before now, you have to use Java to build an Android application, and then you also have to use this thing, Objective C, a programming language, to build for what? iOS. So imagine you have a client that wants an app for Android and what? iOS. You have to build you have to look for two separate programmers, one for Android, one for iOS. You can see how stressful it is. And again, if you have two separate programmers, the look and feel of the two apps won't be exactly the same. Yes, because they are not being maintained by the same code base. But Flutter is here to bridge that gap. What is Flutter? With Flutter now, you can use one particular code base to build for what? Android, to build for what? iOS. So whatever or however it looks and feel on iPhone is the same way it's going to look and feel on Android. Yes. So that's what we're going to be learning how to do. So today I'm going to be showing you some basic things on how to install um, Flutter on your systems. And then I'm going to be showing you some how to run the code, and then I'll show you also how to build your first application, because in today's class we're going to be building a simple mobile app. Yes, I'll run you through the mental process of building an application, how you can run it on your simulator, and then how you might not understand what I'm doing. Yes, but it's not for you to understand, to grasp the full concepts today. No, we can't do all that today. Well, it's just for you to know the thought process that we're going to put in to get to that milestone. Yes. So before I proceed, if anyone that is confused or you have questions, please just let me know. And if there is no question, Olabanji, you can give me the go ahead to proceed.
All right, sir, you can proceed, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So I'm trying to set up my device because I'm using my mobile phone here. So a moment. Okay, yes. So I'm on my system now. We're going to proceed. So I'm going to share my screen, and I think I'll be needing one person to just let me know if you can see my screen. Olabanji, please just let me know if you guys can see my screen, and then we can proceed from there. So I'll be sharing my entire screen. Okay, so let me know if it comes up, please. I'm sharing. No, I want somebody to confirm for me if you can see my screen, please.
I can see it, sir.
All right, all right, all right. That will be enough confirmation. Thank you so much. So we're going to go to Flutter.dev. This is the website we're going to be looking at now. So this is the Flutter home screen. If you can see my screen, this is what it looks like. Yeah. So I'll be dropping the URL on the charts so you guys can have access to it. So this is the URL here, Flutter.dev. Yeah, so you can go to the chat, you can open it on your system. I believe we're using our systems too for this. Yes. So this is the Flutter homepage, how it looks like. Yes. So this is the starting point of Flutter, and I'll be explaining how we can get started from here, how you can join the ecosystem, the development team, and a lot you can do. And we're going to look at the documentation first. Yeah. So let's go to the documentation. Yeah, so this is the documentation of getting started with Flutter. Yes. So how do you get started? You get started by installing Flutter in your application. So there's something I want to say because I don't know, this is just the first class, but I want everybody, I want all of us to be in sync in this meeting. Yes, I want us to be in sync in this meeting. I've already installed Flutter on my machine, but I'll be following you guys up to see how you can install it on your system too. Now, just like we're discussing about Android and iOS, installing Flutter varies also for people that are using a MacBook and people that are using Windows. Yes, people that are using MacBook and people that are using Windows. Yeah, if you are using a MacBook, can you just indicate, please, something I want to do. Just indicate by raising an hand like this. Yes, just indicate like that. If you're using a MacBook here, okay, nobody's using MacBook here. What of a Windows system, HP or there, whatever? If you're using Windows, let me see your hand, please. You guys are not responding now, so I don't even know if people are hearing me or is it the network. Hello. I think I'll be needing confirmation from time to time to know that you guys are hearing me, so that I just won't be talking and talking and talking. And
I'm with you, sir, but I'm not with my laptop.
okay, you are
I'm
joining
not
with your phone.
with my mobile phone right now.
Okay. Hope when next we're meeting, you will join with your laptop.
Yes,
Okay. What of you, Josiah? Please, you can unmute and answer. Which system are you using? Like she's not hearing me.
You can continue, sir. You can continue, sir.
Okay, I can continue. All right, so
Continue.
yeah, I'm going to continue getting started. So I'm going to show you how we can set up our environments. and I've already done that on my own end. And then we're going to proceed to the code, and I'll show you how the things we can do with Flutter. Yes. So now let's get started. Yeah. So now these are the operating systems that you can install your Flutter. So this is a Windows platform. This is Mac OS. If you look at the Mac OS now, you can see that here it is highlighted current device. So the website knows that yes, I'm using a MacBook. So if you're also using a Linux, this is where you go. If you're using a Chrome, this is where you go. So this is my current device. We're gonna go here. I get in it. So you choose your first type of app, iOS recommended, and stuff like that. Then you can now start. You follow the process here. So just go to the website I sent. I dropped the link. Go there. You can follow the instructions. If you have any issues, you can just reach out to any of the admins, or you can reach out to me, and we can install it together. I will help you install it together for us. Yeah, so that's stuff. So now we're going to go down to the code base. But before we go down to the code, let me explain what we're going to be looking at the code level. So now, Flutter is not actually a programming language. Flutter is a framework. It's what we call an SDK. SDK stands for Standard Development Kits. So Flutter is being developed. It's a framework that was built by the Google team. Yes, you heard me. Google is the one in charge of Flutter. Google is the one that created Flutter. So the Google team are building, and they are the ones maintaining the Flutter ecosystem. Yes. So, but Flutter was actually built using a programming language, and that programming language is called Dart. So when we start our class proper, what we're going to be looking at initially is going to be how to write programs using the Dart language before we gradually switch to using the Dart to build Flutter. Because if you don't understand the Dart programming language, the foundation behind Flutter, you won't even know what to do when you get to Flutter, because Flutter is built with Dart. Yes. Everything is a widget in Flutter, and a widget is simply a class in Dart. Yes, it's just a class declarations. So all these widgets are stuff that are already built, is built by what's it called? Developers for us to use. Yes. So you can know more about that when you go to their platform, that's.dev. Yeah, so this is that.dev. So this is the programming language. Is built. This is what this is the foundation of Flutter, right? So you just go to the documentations like we have done before. You go to the language store. So let me just share this URL here on the chat. So I'll be sharing it here. Yes. Good. So we'll share it here, and then you can just look at it after the meeting. Look at it and go through it. So this is where we're going to come and learn about programming languages. Is that clear? So now let us move to the code base and look at how things work at the code level. Like I said, don't get too overwhelmed. This is just an introductory topic. We're not really doing anything much, just to show you what we are going to be able to do at the end of the session. So if you don't understand, it's fine. As time goes on, I'll take you step by step. We're going to go step by step, and then we're going to see what we can achieve at the end of the day. But for now, you might not understand all what I'm doing, but it's fine. And you are also free to ask questions. If you have a question, like I said, just indicate by raising your hand here, and then I'm going to give you attention to do what you want to ask, what you want to ask. So let's proceed now. So if I believe you can see my screen, I'm going to go to Android Studio. Yes, I'm going to go to Android Studio. So this is what Android Studio looks like, but this might not be what you are going to see when you open your own Android Studio for the first time. Yeah, so before you even proceed, there are what we call IDEs. I forgot to mention about that. What's an IDE? An IDE stands for Integrated Development Environment. Yes, so it is where you write code. It is where you what? You write code. So we have several of them for the purpose. Now, for you, you can use Visual Studio, VS Code. Now, this VS Code is another this thing, IDE for building mobile app and websites, what have you. Yes, it's very, very popular, and you are going to see it a lot because dev teams use it a lot. You can build your Flutter apps using Visual Studio Code also. Now, another one, let me drop this link for you people. Another one again is the Android Studio. So Android Studio is being developed, is actually built by IntelliJ. Sorry, the Jet team, what do they call it? So let's just say Android Studio. Yeah, so this is Android Studio here. So you will come here and you download the latest version of the Android Studio here. I getting it. So you just click on download and it will start downloading. I'm not going to download it because I already have it installed in my system. So if you're using a MacBook or what's it called, a Windows system or a Linux, just come and download it and you are good to go. So sorry, I'm also dropping the link here. So this IDE is where we are going to be building our code. Yeah, we're going to be building the application, what it looks like. So I'm going to walk you through what it looks like on my end, and we're going to be focusing on this thing, Android Studio. We're going to be using Android Studio, not VS Code. So now we're going to start with a new Flutter project. Yeah. Now the reason why we're starting with you are seeing this Flutter project here is because I've already installed the plugins. So if you look at installed here, you will see that I have Flutter installed here. This is Flutter. So before you can use Flutter in an IDE, be it Android Studio or VS Code, you have to install the Flutter plugin, and you also have to install the DATS plugins. So these two, they are very, very important, yes, for you to be able, with along some other configurations you're going to do. So let's go back to projects here. So new Flutter project. I get it. So this particular place is where we are going to save. This is the parts by Flutter SDK parts where it's installed here. So just go next. Good. So here now we're going to give it a project name. Yeah, we're going to give it a project name. So now you can the app you are building, you can give it a project name. So I'm going to just see first demo app, and then you can see now with Flutter, like I was saying, you can build Android, iOS. You can also build a Linux application, a macOS application, a web application, and a Windows application. You can build it using that and Flutter with one single code base. Yes, it's perfect. I getting it. I've also built web applications using that and Flutter. Yeah, so there's a lot to learn. There's a lot you can do. Yes, in fact, you are limited by your imagination when it comes to that and Flutter. You can build it for several platforms. But in this particular project, I'll just focus on Android and iOS because those are the two we are going to pay attention to here. So all these ones are you just a Flutter description, organization. You can use your domain name. You enter the reverse of your domain, but for now, we're going to leave it the way it is. And then let me put underscore here to be able to make it a bit readable. That's in that case. Okay, so we're going to go to create. So it is creating the Flutter application. Yeah. So we'll give it a little bit of time. Yeah. So make sure you actually have a strong internet connection because these are one of the criterias of having a fast response. You have a strong internet connection, and also make sure even a good system is part of it also. Yeah, so we're going to enlarge this here. Okay, so before I proceed, please, I'll need just one person to confirm that you're following. Just one person. Just confirm to me that you're following, and we can proceed. Okay, thank you, Amzat. I think that's enough from me, so we're going to proceed. So now, I told you that we're going to be building for Android and what? iOS, right? So how do you do this? How do we build this application? Because this is an app, right? We have to display the app for users to see. I mean, if you're not building, then, I mean, where do you see it? How do we display it? Now, this is going to be the first one. So let me show you how we're going to do it. Now, I'm going to open an iOS simulator. This. Yes, so you can see the iPhone 15 Pro. I don't have it though. It's on the system. Yeah, so you can see the way it's opened here on the system now. Yes, so that's also the same way it is. Let me confirm if I have an Android emulator. So let me just quickly run some command here. We'll just see Flutter emulators. Okay, so I'm going to take this one here. I'm going to say Flutter emulators. Is that a response? Yeah, somebody raised it. Was that a mistake? Okay. Amzat, please ask a question. You're raising your hand.
Can you please maximize it? It's very tiny.
Okay, this place.
Yes, can you please maximize your presentation?
This. Can you can you see, because it's actually mic on my end here.
Huh?
Like I don't know.
Can you zoom the screen? Can you
What I'm
zoom it
saying
till
is
can you
zoom
zoom
it.
it?
Yes. Why can you zoom it? It's very tiny.
Can you see my screen
That
now?
is okay. That is yes,
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 it's
yes.
okay now. Thank you.
Okay, that's good. What about this side? Can you see this particular side?
It's tiny too. If you can zoom it, it will be preferable.
Please, can you hear me? Will you drop the video later so maybe we can zoom it ourselves?
Okay, that will be for the admins. I don't think I have access.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I believe this is a recorded session, right? I think yeah, it's recorded. So I think you should ask that.
Hello,
Yeah,
what's the
so,
issue?
okay. So if you can see my screen now, I'm sharing,
You
right?
can say.
Yeah, if you can see my screen now, we have two devices on my screen right now. One is for the iPhone, which is this one, and this one is the Android emulator. This one is called a simulator. This is the iPhone simulator, while this one is the Android emulator. Now, what this means is that Flutter allows you to build this application the same time, meaning that you can be looking at them side by side. Yes, you can be looking at them side by side. You can be building it at the same time. As you are building the iPhone, you're also building the Android, and you are seeing how it works, how it's, how the interface is across the two platforms at the same time. Yes. So now what we're going to do is that we're going to run this application. We're going to run this application on these two devices. Okay. So the first thing first is that we're going to highlight this particular iPhone 16. Yes, this particular one, and then we're going to launch it. Yes. So now you can, if you look at the console part of it, you can see that it's launching. Yes, it's launching. And then also at almost the same time, you can also run the Android emulator, and you can also launch it at the same time. Both of them can be building at the same time. Yes, but make sure you have a fast system while you're doing this. If not, it might slow down your system. So I'm using a MacBook M1, so it's going to be a bit faster and it might not lag. So if you look at this place now, you can see the iPhone 16. So this is the build for iPhone 16, and this is the build for the medium phone API. So we're going to give it a while, and what as it's building, you will see that the two applications will be displayed here. It will be displayed on the iPhone, and it will be displayed on the emulator at the same time. And then once we make a change, any change we make to our app, we reflect here. So you can see that the iPhone is booting, meaning that the app is launching. And yes, the app has launched on the iPhone. So right now we're waiting for the Android, for the app to also launch on the Android. So if you look at here now, you can see that the build is done and you can now start working. But here, we're waiting for the Android app to also launch, and then we proceed. So so far so good. Do I have any questions? If there is anything you need clarity on, just let me know. Or if there's any adjustment you want me to make, just indicates.
Hey. Hello.
Yes, yes.
Is it because you are using MacBook? That's why you're able to have insulator and emulator at the same time. Because
thank you very
I
much for
have
that.
a window and I'm only able to do for emulator, which is Android.
Yes, that's a very good question. Thank you. So yeah, for you to be able to launch this simulator, you have to have a MacBook. Yeah, because this simulator comes from Xcode. And if you look at Xcode can only be installed on a MacBook. Yes, because Xcode is Xcode is a MacBook application. It's an Apple product. Yeah, so you won't get it on your Windows or any other platform again. Yeah, so if you come here now, if you search Xcode, yeah, so this is Xcode here. So this is Xcode here, as you can see. So you have to install Xcode. So it only comes on the MacBook. So yeah, thank you for that. I didn't mention that. So that's it. So let me check for Android. Android, I think we're having a problem. Okay, so while we're waiting, is there any other question?
Hello. But why is the one of Android throwing error? Thought you said it's from the same code base.
Yeah, it's the same code base, but actually for now, this is not an error. Yeah, this is I think it's just a build time compilation process. You can, if you look at this place, you can see something like saying running Gradle tags, whatever. So sometimes it's not really the code. The code is fine. In fact, most times the code is fine. The problem now will now be the configuration. You are going to get this a lot, especially when you are ready to push. Like if you want to push an application to the App Store, if you want to push to the Play Store, there are two different processes. So let me point you to somewhere now. If you can look at my code, if you can see my code, see we have a folder called Android. Now, this Android folder now, all the configurations you are going to be making for Android related configurations, you will make it inside this folder. Then for the iOS folder, everything relating to iOS is inside this folder. Yeah. So most times when you are working, you're going to have a little issue with the Android part of it because Android is not like it's not as stable as the iOS. If you are building a lot of things, you will notice that iOS have a faster response time, and their stores are mostly up to date as compared to their counterpart, the Android part. The only issue with iOS is they are kind of thorough. Like when you are building, they're kind of thorough, and they expect you to have a MacBook. That's the issue with iOS. But apart from that, you are good. Like the stores are okay. So we can't be waiting for Android forever. So we can just allow it to be loading while we continue with our lesson. Right? Continue our lesson. So now this what we are seeing here now, what we are seeing here now is actually an application. What I mean by application is that it's an application that has been installed in your phone, because if you are using a real phone, you can also connect a real phone to this. Yes, you can connect a real phone to Xcode. So if you look at um, please, can you mute your background? Yes, no, it's there. So if you look at okay, so the Android has built, yeah, the Android has built. So that's what I was trying to explain to you, that it's not actually an error. So this is the Android emulator. Okay, so you can please, somebody is distracting me here. Can you mute your background, please? I think it's Amzat, please.
Please, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hello. So, okay, for example, you wrote a code with Python Django as a backend, and the front end you use Flutter. So,
Mm.
can you deploy the app with Flutter?
Come again.
Like your backend is Python Django. You use Python Django to write your backend. So your
Yes,
front end, all this, you use Flutter. So can you
yes.
deploy the app with Flutter?
Now, so let me tell you the connection here now. Flutter, number one, does not know, and number two, does not care what you use to write your backend. What Flutter does is Flutter consumes the endpoints coming from your Django. Now, you can use
Okay, which is the API.
yeah, which is the API. Thank you, the endpoints. So you can use JavaScript, you can use Java, you can use any language, you can use Go to build your backend, right? But
With any framework.
yeah, with any framework. Now, what Flutter expects from you is just the endpoints, which is the APIs. So Flutter has a technique of consuming endpoints, which is also part of our curriculum, which we're going to learn. Yeah. So Flutter does not need to know this was built by with no, it doesn't need to know what platform it was built with. It doesn't even care. Okay. So what
Yeah.
it is that you can use it, and then you are to answer your question, you can deploy it. Of course, you can deploy it.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
that's before I proceed, please. Anybody else?
Please. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Babs.
Okay, please, I want to confirm something.
Yeah.
The one you are using as example for us is like a mobile app.
Yes, the mobile
Does
app.
this apply same when it's come to web applications too?
With regard to what, please?
Now, the when you the training when it comes to full training, are you focusing on mobile app alone or with when it's come to web working on web?
I think I will have to direct that question to an admin, if there's any admin on the platform here. Yes, please.
So Flutter can be used to build cross-platform platform application, just like Wisin said at the beginning. So with a Flutter, Flutter is one of the latest technology out there that is actually making the biggest wave. And just like it's been established, front-end programming language at this time, it's always advisable to pick something that's like the latest evolution. Because actually, all these framework are evolutions. If you read about them, React is there, Angular is there, but the days of Angular and React, they are like the popular guys at some time. But you would agree with me that they are more better for they are for web applications majorly. But with Flutter, you can see which thing is emulating. It can emulate on iOS, emulate on Android. It's not just an emulation. It means the moment it's done with that application, you can actually package it, deploy it. You can also emulate on web, deploy it on web, deploy on Android, deploy on desktop, deploy on Windows, same application. And yes, no, I'm not just saying these are virtually. We have applications that are deploying web, even very complex applications, software as a service, that are built in Flutter. So yes, Flutter is a cross-platform application. And in the full training, you'll be able to build example application you can deploy anywhere.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah, Bob, I hope that answered your question.
Yes, yes.
So I'm going to give you a real life scenario about the last platform I worked on, the last job I worked on. So the last job I worked on is called render.com. I can see it. So this render.com is actually a mobile app, right? Now this mobile app, I built this app because it's on Play Store now. It's on Play Store, it's on the App Store. I built it, I deployed it to the Play Store, to the App Store, and I also built I built the web interface you are seeing now. This particular one you are seeing, I built it, and also the render, I think the admin dashboard, render.
Please, I can't see your screen. I can't see your screen.
Please, is there anybody that cannot see my screen?
Hello, please, I can't see your screen. Are you there?
Yeah,
We can see your screen. Maybe we should try and log out and log in again.
Yeah, I've stopped sharing so that I can share again. All right.
okay.
I'm sharing my entire screen again, please. Let me know if you can see my screen. Sorry, who was complaining that you can't see my screen? Was it Babs?
Yeah, I
I
can
was
see
the
it.
one.
I'm not the one. I only advise I should log out and log in.
Vladimir
Okay,
Chi.
okay. So this is it now. So now this is the admin here. Now the point is, I built this admin, this one, and the two mobile apps using one platform, which is that and Flutter. So that's what the admin is trying to explain to you, that instead of you going for diverse applications, you can just use one particular code base, one particular platform, and build both the admin dashboard, the web, the mobile cross-platform. And even if you want to scale it to desktop also, Flutter is there for you. Okay. So just think about it. You are learning one tool for multiple things. So if you learn Flutter, yeah, for web, if you learn Flutter for mobile, you are actually a web developer, and you're also a desktop application developer too, automatically. Okay, so let us proceed. So please, I want to dive down to the code now. So before I dive down to the code, let me get some questions or clarity, one or two. If there's none, so we can proceed. Anybody? Okay, so in the absence of no question, let us proceed to the code base. Yeah. So now you can see the simulator for the iPhone. You can see the simulator for the Android, right? When we get into the teaching proper, like I said, this is just a brochure, right? This is just a brochure. This is just an introductory class. When we get into it proper, I'm going to show you how to create your iPhone simulator for those of us using MacBook. And then I'll also show you how to create your Android simulator. And then I'll also show you how to connect your own physical device. You can connect your physical device. Either you are using an Android phone, physical device, or you are using an iPhone. It doesn't matter. What I'm trying to say is this: you can connect your phone, meaning that as you are working, as you are building, you are seeing it on your phone. Now, let me show you, proof to that this is a real app. So if you go to the home page now, this Flutter first demo app, this first demo app you are seeing here now with the Flutter logo. This logo you are seeing here is Flutter logo, right? So this is how the app will look like. In the course of the class, I'm also going to show you how to change this first demo app, and then I'll also show you how you can also deploy your applications to the Play Store and the App Store. So now, when you tap on it, first demo app now, this is where you come. Now, this what you are seeing here now is a result of the code base here. A result of the code base that you are seeing here. This one that is zoomed out like this. So first of all, I'm going to explain the code to you, and then I'm going to explain what we call Flutter hot reload. Yes. Now, this Flutter hot reload is one of the, in fact, is one of the best things to happen to Flutter. Yes, and you're going to love it. You're going to enjoy it. See this icon here? This icon you can see is called Flutter hot reload. Now, what does this Flutter hot reload mean? It means that any change you make on your code base will immediately be reflected on the application itself. So if you change something, okay, you can see now we have Flutter demo homepage. Flutter demo homepage. Now this Flutter demo homepage, let me show you where it's written here. You can at the app bar, so you can see it here, Flutter demo homepage, right? So let me remove the home page and leave it as Flutter demo here. Now, when you come here now, you can see that it is under the iPhone 16 Pro. So come here and reload that one. You can see the Flutter. So once you just tap on it, Flutter hot reload, and you refresh it, it will just change to Flutter demo. Did you see how it changed immediately? Now I will now come here for the Android on, and I will now hot reload and refresh it. Once I refresh it, it's going to change. You can see the way it changes on Flutter demo. That's the way it is. I get it. So hot reload enables you to see your changes very fast, like this, very, very fast. Is any change you make is going to just see it and reflect it in the mobile app. You don't have to review the app again, like that long process we did. No, you don't have to at all. So this is a debug mode. So you can see this banner. You can see this banner here, this red banner that says debug, and the one that also says debug here on the Android. So first of all, let's remove that one first. So to remove that one, you come to your material app and you say debug show check mode banner. So this is the property, and you put it false. When you put it false, you come here, you refresh for Android, and you come here, you refresh for the iOS. And if you come back to the app, you see that we no longer have the banner, the red banner showing there. So it's out of the way. Okay. So now, when you are faced with this, something like this now, it now calls your attention that, okay, this is how we need to start building an application. Where do I start from? How do I go about it? So this is where the thought process comes in. Because it's not enough for you to just open your laptop, open your IDE, and start writing lines of code. It's more than that. Okay, there is more to it than writing lines of code. There's a thought process to it. There is a pattern. There is an architecture. There is a flow. As developers, you have to follow for you to start building stuff. And we are going to cover all these design patterns in the course of our classes as we proceed. Okay, so for now, we are going to build together. We are going to build an application. We're going to build an application here, just a simple calculator, and we're going to see how it works. I'm going to explain to you how state works. I'm going to explain to you how you can build and reuse widgets. and stuff like that. So we're just going to play around Flutter applications. Yes, we're going to play around Flutter application. And if you also like, we can also build existing applications. It's called cloning. Yeah, we can clone Facebook, we can clone OP app, we can clone Binance, any of the app you like, we can just clone it using that and Flutter and build the same thing. I getting it. So here I'm going to be showing you some of the widgets, the popular widgets that you are going to be using as time goes on. Yes, some popular widgets you are going to be using as time goes on in the app. So here now, this is a demo application. What this demo app does is you can just increase it. It keeps track of how many times you have clicked the button. So you say you put the button this many times, so you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you come to come here. Yeah, you can see you have clicked it this much time and stuff like this. So we are going to start to build on this particular one here, to build on this one, and then we are going to proceed to do other things too. So this one is just a simple counter application, and I'm going to show you how we can improve on it, and then I'm going to show you some widgets also. So let's see. Now, what this stuff does is just to click the number of times it has shown, right? So we're going to work on this now. Hope you can see my screen. We're going to work on this now.
Yes.
This thing it might worry me a bit because I'm not seeing the entire screen, but you guys can see my screen. Like, is it okay? The
Yes.
code editor, is it okay?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so let's manage it. Let's see how we can do that. Now, before I proceed, let's explain states in Dart and Flutter. What is state? Now, state is actually what you are seeing, the way your app is at that moment you are looking at it. So as you are looking at the iOS app, excuse me, you are seeing 13. Now, this 13 you are seeing now is actually the state of the application. And as people that have been using mobile app for years now, I believe all of us here we have used mobile app for years. You cannot install an app and the app will be static. No, when you install an app, things happens with respect to response. It's either something is loading from the server or you are pressing a button. And as a user, when you press a button, your subconscious is automatically expecting something to happen. If not, what happens when you push a button in an application? Let's say you open a random app and you push a button and nothing happens within the first few seconds. Your thought will be, let me press it again. Why? Because something is supposed to happen. A response, a state is supposed to change. So when you look at this, you're looking at the state of the application, meaning this is how my state is now. Now, there are things that are responsible for changing the state of a Flutter application because it keeps tracks of the state. Now, we have types of widgets. We have what we call a stateless widget. From the name stateless widget, what it means is that this state cannot change. Yes, it's a constant, it's immutable. This state cannot, it does not expect the state to change. But if you want to have a state change, you are going to use what we call a stateful widget. Yeah, so your widget have to inherit, you have to extend a stateful widget. So once you extend a stateful widget, it's going to have access to what we call a set state method. Now, that set state method is responsible for updating the user interface. Yeah, to say, okay, a particular state has changed, update it. Okay, so let's go back to the code now. Now, this is, if you can see here, you see where they say my home page extends what? A stateful widget. Now, they are using a stateful widget because they expect the state to change. At this point in time, the state that we are focusing on is this property called counter, which you can see is equal to what? 0. So what it means is that, let me reload this application now. Let me reload both of them. Now, it means that whenever this application starts, counter will automatically be what? 0. If I put counter to be 10, and I rebuild the applications, both of them, I rebuild the applications, you can see that it will become 10, 10. So this is the initial state of the application. It means that you are telling me that whenever the application loads, it should show counter to be what? The property to be what? To be 10. I get it. So this is what you now have here. So let's go back to our initial value, which is 0. Let's rebuild it and then rebuild it. So when the application loads, it's going to be what? 0, 0. Good. So this is the state. Now we have an increment counter. So this is a function, right? So I'm going to replicate this function again, but in this time around, I'm going to call it void decrement counter. So I'm going to show you something now. So this is my counter application here, which is this. So here I'm going to say counter is equal to counter minus 1. I'm writing that code here now. So what I'm trying to say is this, is that when this function is called, decrement counter, it should decrease the counter by 1. So let's just follow the logic, okay? This is a function. This is a function. This is what we call how to declare a function. So I'm creating a function in my code. Now we are going to talk about function and classes as the time goes. But for now, this is how a basic function looks like. Now, this function now, we have void here. The reason why we're using void is because the return type is void. The function does not return anything. So we call it void since it doesn't return anything. Is that okay? Now, this one is the function name. Now, it's starting with an underscore because it is a private function to this. You cannot call it outside. It's only private to this particular file, to this particular class. That's why we use an underscore here. And now, this one here, this is a function parameter. This is where we put our parameters. Now, this function has no parameter. That's why the parenthesis is empty, because it has no parameter. Now, this is our value counter, right? Now, when you tap on this button, what you are telling the compiler to do, is that take the value, the current value of this. In this case, which is 0. The current value is 0. Now, subtract 1 from it and assign it now. So, replace it with this. So, it's going to be 0 minus 1, which is minus 1. Then replace it here. If you tap it again, it's going to be minus 1 minus 1, which is going to be what? Minus 2. So that is what the function does. Simple. I getting it now? So now, the next thing now is this. Now, you can see that this decrement counter and this increment counter, you can see they are different. Why? Increment counter is showing blue. Why decrement counter is showing dull gray? Why is it showing dull gray? Well, this is one of the benefits of using an integrated environment. Why? Because it helps you with so many things. It helps you with IntelliSense, with auto-completion. Now, this is like this because it's telling you, when you highlight over it, it's telling that the declaration, decrement counter, isn't referenced. Why? We have not used it. We just declared it, but we have not used it. So it's letting you know that this is a warning that you should use the function you created or you remove it. So in this case now, how do we use it? Let us go here. So here we have a floating action button. Okay. So here I'm going to this floating action button requires a widget. So I'm going to just wrap this one with a row. Don't worry about what I'm doing. You're going to understand it very, very soon. Okay? Yes. So here, I'm going to duplicate this. Okay? If I do something and you don't understand what I did or how I did it, you can just ask question. Okay? Ask question. How did I do it? I'm going to explain. So let us refresh and also refresh this one. Let's see what do we have. So you can see we have two buttons now side by side, right? So let's just make some slight adjustment here. So here, so I'm just going to say main axis alignment. I'm saying make main alignment dot center. So let's see. So it's going to push it to the center. Okay. So you can see that we have our buttons at the center now. Don't worry about all these things. I'm going to teach you all this, how to do all these layouts. Yes, we have a topic. In fact, we have a large topic on layouts. When we come to layout, I'll teach you how to lay out, how to position things by the side using your layout widgets like your rows and column and your list view and your grid view. Okay, so here we are now. And in this place, now you can see when you are building things, you are going to be encountering things that are not supposed to be the way they are supposed to be, and then you're going to be correcting them. Okay, if I should ask a question now, what is wrong with this? You might notice that they are they are married, they are attached, they are touching themselves. They are not meant to be touching themselves. Is that right? Yes. So how do we do it? So you're going to put a space in between them. Okay. So here you're going to say, well, there is several ways to do this. Okay. You can come here and change this to space around. When you change it to space around, you can see there is space now between them. Also, for the iPhone, also, you can see there is space now between them. Yes. Or, if you like, you can give them a custom spacing. So let's say you are working with a Figma file, right? And the Figma file is telling you we need a spacing, and the spacing between them should be 10 pixels or 20 pixels. So let us go back to what it was. So let's come in now. So you can see they are back together. They are back together, right? So now let's say the design given to you by a company, design says we want the spacing to be 20 pixels between them. Now you come here now, you can also use what we call size box. You can use a size box here, and then you give it a width. So the width now you give it 20 pixels, and that's all. I getting it. That's all. So you can also format by pressing Command Option L to format your your Android Studio. Okay, and then you save. So once you save, also save for iPhone, and then you can see the space between. You can see the 20 pixels, right? It's not that much in between them. So this is how you just build your application. Now, another thing we notice is both of them have plus icon. So I want us to change to make it plus and minus, right? So here now you focus on the icon. This one, let's change this one to decrement. So here, instead of icons.add, we say icons.remove. Is that okay? Then save it. Save for iPhone 2. So you can see now we have plus and minus now. I get in it. But both of them are doing the same thing in terms of the functionality now. Why? Because when you click on add, it's adding one. If you click on minus, it's still adding it, which is not what we want. So this is a bug, right? So how do we fix this? Now you come now. This is where you now pass the function unpressed. Now this floating action button is telling that when you unpress, there's an unpressed function here. So this unpress, what it expects a function. You can see it here, void function, a function that does not return anything, a nullable function. That's what it expects. Okay. So now we are passing increment counter, but what we need to pass is what? Decrement counter. Like this. I getting it. So that is what we need to pass. So let us reload it and also reload it. And let us start again. So let's see now. I tap on plus and it gives me 5. But if I tap on minus, what happened? Minus? Why? Minus? It's not working. No. What did we do wrong? I pressed minus how many times? 3 times, but nothing happened. It's still showing us 5. I mean, something is wrong. Take note, I pressed minus 3 times, nothing happened. But if I press this plus now, since 5 is showing here, it's supposed to show 6, right? Okay, let's press plus. Let's see. Why do we have 3 instead of 6? From 5, I pressed plus, it took us to 3. Why not 6? Let me explain. Now, I intentionally left out, if you go to decrement counter, I did not call the method set state. Set state is responsible for updating the user interface of our changes. You get? But I did not call set state when I decremented it. That is why it did not show. But at the background, it was actually keeping record of it. So when we had 5, I called -1, which was 4. I called -1, which was 3. I called -1, which was 2. But because I didn't call set state, it did not update. So the moment I called an increment counter that has set state, it now did the 2 + 1, which now showed us 3 here. So for us to make it show, you have to come here and then you put your set state method here, and then you put it inside here like this. Then you save it. When you save it, you come here now. So you say plus plus. Then when you minus it, you can see now it's now working. The same thing here. Plus. When you are plusing it, then when you are minusing it, it's now going down. I seen it. It's as simple as that. So, is there any question before I proceed? Anybody with any question? Okay. So, in absence of no question, let's proceed. So now, I'm going to do one last thing. Before we go to do another thing. And I want us to do it together if anybody can give me an idea. Now, what I want to do is this. I want to add a reset button. In such a way that when I tap on the reset icon, I want it to reset the counter to 0, no matter the number. So, for instance, when I look at this emulator now, it's showing -7, it's showing +2, right? So, when I tap on a reset button, it should immediately go to 0, no matter the number you are currently on. So, who can tell me how do you do it? Like, just quickly, please, anybody? Ideas? How do we set the reset button? Okay, because of time, let's just proceed. So it's the same thing that we have done. The same thing, okay? So we're going to create another function, and we're going to say void reset counter. Okay, then we're going to call set state method, and inside the set state method, we're going to say counter. Sorry, we're going to say counter is equal to 0, like this. Okay, and I told you now we need to now call this function. So we'll go back to where our button is. Now, we'll just duplicate this particular code base here. Just duplicate it here, and then we're going to say here we're going to change it to reflect, and then here we're going to say icons dot reflect. Let me see which icon reset icon I'm going to use. So let's use this one. Okay, and then here we're going to put reset counter. Okay, that's as simple as that. Okay, so we're going to reload this. Let's reload this. All right. So we have 0, 0, right? So I think for UI save, let's just put, let's make the, okay, no need anyways. So here now you have the plus icon and you have the minus, and then when you tap on reset, automatically it takes you to 0. Plus, minus, reset, 0. Is that okay? Okay, so before I proceed, please, any questions? Stop what you're doing and ask questions if you have any question. Are we good? No question?
Yes, and
Bab. Okay, no question. All right. So that's that. Okay. So let us proceed to other stuffs that we can do. So I promise to show you guys how widget works. Okay. Now everything here, this page you are seeing here is actually coming from the scaffold. Now this app bar you are seeing here comes from here. This app bar comes from where? From here. This is app bar. This particular place that is it purple accent or is coming from here. This app bar. So if we tweak it here, you can see that this is the background color. We can change this background color. We can change this background color. I was just going to say colors dot red probably, and you save it. Then you save it, you see that your background color is now red. So this is the app bar. And then you also have your background. Your background is this the body of the app. The body of the app, that is the background. So you can come here now and give it a background color. And you can say colors dot blue accent. And you save it. And when you save it, you can see it changes. So that's just a way to apply colors to your application. Let's go back. Let's go back. Look at what we have. Yeah. So I'm going to show you how we can build widgets, design widgets with container. Yes, I'm going to show you how we can do that. So I'm going to build a calculator interface here. So I'm going to create a new directory here. I'm going to say screens. I'm going to say calculator. Yeah, then I'm going to say UI here. Okay, so I just created a calculator folder where we're going to be building like just a simple iPhone calculator. So here now we're going to create a dat file, right? And we're going to call it new dat file. We're going to say calculator dot, okay, since it's a dat file, just call it calculator. Yeah, so this is a calculator. So you can see how empty it is, right? So the first thing, we're going to import a Flutter package. So I'll explain how this import works in later classes. So here now we're going to start our calculator. So I'm going to say a stateless widget. I'm going to call it a calculator. Okay, and here we're going to replace this with a scaffold. The scaffold, and then we're going to give it a background color. I'm going to say colors the black.
Sorry, sir. Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Are we starting with widget since we said we are building a calculator and
Sorry?
we have to input? I said, why are we starting with stateless widget when we are waiting the calculator? Since we are going to be inputting the operation, the number, the operations, and then we have to have the results, and the state has to be changing. So
Now,
when you use stateful widget like that.
You see, I love this question very, very much. It shows that you are paying attention. Thank you very much. Yeah. So now it's a good question. I mean, state is supposed to change, but I use stateless widget, and he noticed it that I'm using stateless widget, meaning that the state is not going to change. So what kind of calculator are we building? Is that right? But
yes, sir.
Good. Now I'm going to show you the essence of what Flutter is built. Flutter was built using composition, meaning that you can compose stuffs one into another, one into another, one into another. I get it. Meaning that we're going to break it down. So I started this calculator app as a stateless widget, but in the long run, I'm going to pieces it. We're going to have several parts of it. Now, when we have several parts, I'm going to focus on the part that needs state changes, and I'm going to use stateless widget for those parts, right?
Okay.
Why the ones that do not need stateless widget, stateful widgets will become what? Stateless. So it's just separation of concerns. You focus on where you need your state to change, and you apply stateful widget instead of applying stateful widget everywhere. Should you grab Abi? Yeah, so that's a very good question. I like that. You're paying attention. So now we have a stateless widget. So we're going to start with the stateless widget. And mind you, when you start building an application, okay, well, just let me say this thing. If you are building a production-based application that is going to go to Play Store live that people are going to download, install, and use, you're not going to be using set states to build them. You're going to be using what we call state management tools. So we have several of them. We have what we call provider, we have Riverpod, and we also have block. But in this class, I'm going to be showing you how we can use provider to be able to manage our states. I get it. Probably we're going to revisit the calculator application and see how we can use provider to make it better. Yes. So let's proceed. So we have a scaffold, right? Now, this scaffold only have a property, which is a colors of black. We want it to show here. So I'll come back to my main.dat. Main.dat. Now you can see this, my home page here, right? I'm going to remove this, my home page, and I'm going to replace it with calculator. I'm getting it. And then I'm going to restart the application again. So what you should be expecting to see is just a black background. Yes, it's a black background because we gave it what? A black background. So if I change it to blue and save it, it's going to have a blue background. I'm getting it. So I want us to have a black background and save. So let us go to Chrome here. Let me see iPhone calculator image. Let us look at something. So this is images. Okay, so this is an iPhone calculator, right? Let me look for a fine one. iPhone calculator. So this is an iPhone calculator. Is that right? So I want us to build this interface like this. Can we do it? Of course. Let's build it. Okay. So already we have started with a black background. Everything is what? Black. So here we are going to now separate the widgets. Separate widgets. So you're going to build several widgets for them. So first things first, this is color. So you're going to give it okay, you have given it a background. So now let's talk about the body. So this body now is where the application is going to live. So we're going to say a column. So we're going to pass a column widget. Like I said, I'm going to teach layouts, right? So here in the column widgets, we're going to have children. So the column widget is a widget that takes children, like it takes other widgets. So here, inside the children widgets, we're going to have, so this is where our application is going to live. Yes, this is where our application is going to live. So I'm going to wrap this one. You can see that there is a padding around it, right? There's a padding. So I'm going to wrap the body with a padding. Then let's just say 20. So I'm going to give it a padding all around it. I'm going to give it a padding of 20 pixels. Or let me not give it everything. So I'm going to say symmetric. I'm going to give the horizontal side 20. Then the vertical, probably I'm just going to give it maybe 50. Let's see how it goes. Okay. If I save it, you still won't notice anything. You won't notice anything. Yeah. Nothing to show. But don't worry. It will start taking shape little by little. So here, we're going to come here. We're going to build another widget. Okay. Let's just keep everything simple and build stateless widgets. So you say stateless widgets. And what are we going to call these widgets? We're going to call these widgets. So you have to name your widgets with the function that they have. Is that okay? So we're going to call it our display. Our display. Or I can say our results display. Now, this result display is this particular one now. This one that you are seeing 564. This is going to be our result display, right? So you're going to put it, you're going to say, so the first widget I'll introduce to you now is going to be a text widget. Text widget. So this text widget from the name is for displaying text. Is that okay? So here I'm going to say 564 just to copy what we have here, right? So I'm going to save it. If I save it, guess what? Nothing happens. But if I come here now and I put result display and then I save it, come here too and save it. So you're going to see, okay, you cannot see it here, but I can see it on my screen because it's a bit stuff here. It's a bit dark. So let us improve it that you can see. So here we're going to give it a style, then text style. Now, first of all, let's make the font size big. So I can say 34 pixel, and then color, I'll say colors.whites. Okay, so let us save it. Then come here. So I also teach us theming, how to use theming in Flutter. So you can see the 564 now, right? It's visible. Okay, you can see it now. So, but there is something else I want us to do. Now, this particular one, the whole screen, I'm going to wrap it with a size box and give it a width and height. So the width, I will tell it should occupy the width of the screen. Dot size dot width. And also I will tell it to occupy the height of the screen. So we have width and height. Okay, 100%, 100%. Good. So now we have our display here, our result display. Okay, but this 564 is different from this 564. So number one is smaller. So let's just increase it. Let's just say let's say 50. Let's say 50. And let me see what I have. Okay, 50 is better. It is fine now. 50. It is better. Let's save it. So yes, so we have this here, and everything is aligned. So I want us now to start with the display. See where the display is here. See where their own is. Ours is in the middle, while theirs is where? In the center. So let us work with that and see how we can do that. So first of all, for you not to walk blindly, you have to give it, wrap this one with a container. So wrap with a container. So the reason why I want you to wrap it with a container is because you are going to give it a decoration. And then you're going to give it a box decoration. Yeah. And then you're going to give it a border. Sorry. You're going to give it a border. You see border.all. I'm going to give it a color.white, because the default is black, color.white. So let me make it width to be 2. So save. And also here we save. So this is a border. So the reason why I'm giving this border now is that I want us to use this border to, show the size, show size of what we are doing. So here now, in this container here, I'm also going to give it a width to encompass the entire width here. So you can see it now. I want it to get the entire width. Then let me do something. Let me remove this vertical we gave it. Yeah, let me remove the vertical we gave it here. Okay. All right. So this is what we have now for both iPhone and iOS, right? Then the height, I'm also going to give it a height. But this time around, I'll be giving it a height of 30%. Yes. So I've given it a height of what? 30%. So now, meaning that the display from here, the display takes 30%, while the other buttons now will now take what? The remaining 70%. Is that okay? So we do it like that. So here now, if now for us to move this particular item from this top left, this is top left, yeah, to bottom right. Okay. So this is our text widgets. So let's try the alignments. So you say alignment dot center. When you do this, it brings it to the center. To the center. But what we want is this particular side. See their own here. So theirs is where? Is at the bottom right. So we're going to change it to alignment dot bottom right. And this is what we have now. Is that okay? This is what we have. So we have 30% of the display. So the display now is showing 30%. So then we're not going to look at, so this is for the reverse display. We're going to create another stateless widget. And then that particular one is going to have, so we're going to say button container. So we call it a button container because it's a container that contains all the buttons. So this button container now is going to be the 70% here, right? So we'll come here now. I'm going to return a container. So here I'm going to say, which is also the width. Yeah, 100%. And then the height, we're going to, okay, I copied it. We're going to have the height. The height is going to be 70%. 7. Uh, 7. Okay. So then we're going to give it a decoration, box decoration, like we did earlier. Give it a border, border dot all colors dot white, colors dot white. Yes. So you save it. So you're not going to see it. It won't show because we have not included it in our body here. So here we're going to say button container. Button container. So you save it. You save it. So you can see the rest of it now. We have the rest of it here, 70% at the bottom. And then the padding you are seeing is the 20%, 20 pixel padding I applied. Okay, so now we are good to go. So now look at this button now. We want to build this button. How do we build this button? And if you notice, some of these buttons have different colors. Yes, they have different color. In fact, some even have a different shape, to be honest. Some have a different shape. So how do you account for all these things now? So we're going to build a widget and call it. So inside this button container here, okay, underneath here, I'm going to build a function that returns a widget. And I'm going to call it, I can say custom button. Yeah. Then here, I'm going to return a container widget. Okay. Now, inside this container widget now, we're going to pass in a decoration and a box decoration here. So we're going to say height, color rather. So if you look at this one now, the one that have most of the colors, is, I think it looks like black, but it's not black. So I'm just going to say colors dot black. So I'm going to say black 12. Black 12, yes. So then we're also going to give it a height. I will say 100. I'm going to give it a width. And I said 100. And then inside here, I'm going to give the shape, and I'll say box shape the circle. And then for now, okay, then we're not going to give it a child and a text. Okay, and that child, let's just say 1. And then we're also going to give it a styling, then text style. Then we're going to say font size. Font size should be 18. Let's say 18. Then color, I'll say colors dot white. Color dot white. Yeah. Okay. Then let's format it. Okay. So that's all. If I save it, nothing's gonna happen because I've not used it. Okay. So here now, let's go back to our button container. Now in this button container, yeah, we're also going to have a child. So in this child now, we're going to call a column widget. Now inside this column widget, we have our children, and then I'm going to pass the first row widgets. So when I pass the first row widgets here, inside the first row widget, I'm going to have children. And then this is where I can input my custom button. And I'm going to input my custom button, and I'm going to duplicate it 3 times. Okay. And then let's just save it and see what we have. Okay, so it's not showing yet. So the next thing we're going to do is to, let's give it a border. Let's give it a border. I'm going to say border dot all. I'm going to say colors dot white. Then save it. Save it. Okay, so what's happening? Okay. Then let us align this one to the center. Let me just change this color to red accent first. Yeah. So let us align this one. Yes, please. Who has a question? Somebody has a question? Okay, okay, all right. Thank you. I'll be rounding up now. So let me just, I'll just design the interface and then we'll call it a day. Yeah. So in the container here, alignment, let me see, alignment, the center. So let's do that. Let's do that. Yeah, okay, so this is what we have. And then we have other adjustments we're going to make. So let's just start making them. You can see that our circle is a bit bigger. So I'm going to reduce the height and width. So let's just say 70. Yeah, I think it's better this way now. Is it better this way? Yeah, I think it's better this way. Let me see. Yeah. So I just need one more custom button. And then we're going to use, since we're using a row, we're going to say main axis alignment. We're going to say main axis alignment of space between. You save it. And we have this one here also. So you can see there is a space in between them. It's evenly spaced. It's evenly spaced. Let me use space around. Space around. Yeah, this is better. And then probably increase it to 80. Okay, so this is what we have now. I'm getting it. And then also, we're going to make the text inside a bit bigger. So I'm 28. Let's see if that works. This is better. And then let us now just try and make it, since there are four, right? So let's just duplicate it 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So we'll come here. So this particular row, we're going to duplicate it 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So this is how it is. Then we're also going to be adding a height, a size box height here. Let me say const size box. We'll give it a height of maybe 20. Yeah. So let's look at that. Okay, so this is what we have right now. So this is what we have right now. So we can now adjust it. We also have the last one. This thing looks so big. Okay, it's better. So now we can now start passing in the values here. I can say this 7 o'clock. Okay. All right. We're just going to pause here. Then in our next class, we'll continue and we're going to finish it up because I think I've exhausted more than the allocated time. Sorry, but sorry about that. Next time, I will try to come early so we can keep to time and not exhaust all the time because of network. So sorry about that. Okay, so that will be all for today, and I'll be allowing Olufemi to take over. I think he's the admin, and then but before that, is there any question, please?
Yeah, sorry, sir. The only question I have is let me not say is beyond the class what we taught.
Okay.
So now, since we have the calculator already, and then since we know that we can bring an API into this, so we need to store the result and everything. I'm just saying because I may not be around for the next class, and I want to practice. How do we do that? I mean, what do we use like that to make sure that everything you are doing it can be saved on the phone? I don't know if you understand where I'm going. If you can just
Yeah.
explain briefly.
What do you mean by save on the phone? Is it the
What I
app you are
mean is,
saving?
okay, the once you maybe you did the calculation before +4 and then gave your result,
Yes.
then that 4 + 4 you need it back again, something like that. But I know it's advanced this thing. I'm just asking if there's a way you can quickly explain.
Yeah. So you use states to manage even the set states, right? You can just use it because this particular app is a simple application. It doesn't need any advanced storage. Yes, it's just like your basic calculator in your phone. Okay. So what it does is it just consumes it applies the calculation on the flow, on the fly. As you're doing it, as you're pressing 1 + 1, and you're pressing your equal to is going to bring you, it's going to show you 2. Any calculation you do is doing it on the fly on the interface there, and it's showing you the result. So if you want to maybe save the answer, maybe create a history, then you're talking about using a storage. And in this case, we're going to use what we call, for this level now, we're just going to use shared preferences. So there's a package called shared preferences that stores your what's it called? It stores your history. It saves it on the phone so that you can come back to it and get that data. It stores data for you on the phone.
Yes, sir, that's what I'm talking about. I'm just saying if we are going to go into that next week, we using next week or when next we have the class.
Yeah,
The app,
so context around it. Actually, this is just like a pre class as usual, and we actually currently also have some other people that have access to this section, and then of course it's been a great section. I think we've covered more than even the objective of the section is to actually get people started on the journey for mobile app. So the main class actually like continues next week, and it's going to be like the proper gist. It's going to run for 3 months. So whatever you've been introduced to now, you are going to be on the 3 month sprint on every Saturday and Sunday, 2 hours daily, starting next week, to build very interesting stuff with Flutter. However, we still have a section tomorrow. We focus more on your strategies to actually get into the global space. And this is not just even about tech. If you have a friend that has been job searching, you have a friend that has been trying to get a job, or irrespective of the industry they work in, even if it's not tech, you want to advise them to join the section because we're going to be talking about how to optimize your CV, check your CV, how global recruitment works, platforms where you can actually get access to good jobs that pays in dollars and the rest. So, but then tomorrow, I think the session for tomorrow is 3 o'clock, if I'm right. Reminder will be sent to everyone again via the group. So I think this is where we're going to end it today. Thanks for that, Wilson.
thank you.
Thank you,
so
sir.
much. Yes, thank you, Babatunde. So apart from him, is there another question before we round up? Okay, so that'll be all. So in addition to what Olufemi said, this is just an intro class. Okay, starting from next week, we're going to go step by step. Yes, we're going to break it down. We're not just going to rush into things that you don't understand. No, we're going to break it down, and at the end of the day, you're going to see how well we're going to build several mobile applications. Yes, so that will be it for today. It was nice meeting all of you. And please, if you have any concern,
Thank you.
just drop it with the admin, and then he'll get back to me on my teaching. And if there's anything that you want me to improve, thank you so much once again. I'm happy to be here.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much, sir.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, sir.